Direct from the web, it's Billy Masters Live. And now, please welcome your host, Billy Masters.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Billy Masters Live. Oh, my God. Look, everything seems to be working. Aside from the fact that I can't hear anything out of these headphones, which is almost poetic because we will be having a tribute to Lynn Samuels, who always had trouble with her headphones. But we'll get to Lynn at the end of the show. For those of you who are tuning in for the Lynn Samuels tribute, you know, she'll have to wait for the drag queens. All right, now, am I going to have to? Oh, look at that. I was just going to ask if somebody would put the date up, and Monica, boom, that trigger finger, Monica Smythe, is on top of things. Today is Thursday, September 3rd. And this is, what show is this? The 47th show. 2 shows a week, so that's about 400 weeks in quarantine. Oh, my God. It seems like just yesterday it was winter. And can I tell you, I am not a fan of the fall. I know that I should be a fan of the fall, and I'm in Boston right now. I am not a fan. The shadows are longer. You would think I would be a fan of longer things. I am not. And there's a chill in the air, nipping at my nips, which I do enjoy, I have to admit. But no. So, I mean, we've gone through, this is, I guess, we're coming into the 4th season of the pandemic. Look at that. When you think about it, it started in the winter, spring, summer, and fall. That's 4 seasons. That's almost a year, and yet it's only been, I don't know how many weeks it's been. Anyway, we're still here because we are Billy Masters Live, and if we're here, we're live. Before I get to today's show, let me just tell you that next week on Tuesday is a very special show. We're going to have Miss Marilyn Maye. Marilyn Maye, not a day under 140. Now, she's 92. And so I can't complain about feeling old and creaky when Marilyn Maye is still running around and doing shows in Provincetown. And she is. She just finished a sold-out run in Provincetown. One of our guests today will be able to tell us about a sold-out run in Provincetown. And I will hasten to add, sold out doesn't mean what it used to mean. And that's because of this pandemic. What can you do? Anyway, so Marilyn Maye tribute on Tuesday. She'll be here. Some special guests will be here. So you will not want to miss that. And every time I do something with Marilyn Maye, she always says to me, well, it's all right, Billy, if you can't make it. I'll be dead soon and you may have missed my last performance. So see, you don't want to miss Marilyn Maye. This could be historic. This could be the last Marilyn Maye appearance. Oh, anyway, I am starting. This is another one of our Dragapalooza shows. And there's only one person that I could possibly have on a drag show because he actually wrote the book, the actual book. Like a lot of people say, you wrote the book. He wrote the book on drag because it's called Drag, combing through the big wigs of showbiz. And look at that eye makeup. You know, that's not eye makeup that you just flip on and go. That takes at least a good 45 minutes to do those eyes. But the fabulous Frank DeCaro is here. He has absolutely no eye makeup, but here he is. Hello, Frank.
How are you, darling? I'm so glad you had the book cover because I left it in the other room. I completely forgot to bring my book with me.
You used to be a professional. What happened?
Oh, I used to see my feet too. It's just used to do a lot of things. No,
well, speaking of seeing your feet, now I'm kind of this. I planned something fun that maybe is kind of funny now. You've lost an enormous amount of weight, and I found this picture. Look at you.
And now, look, I'm in between now, okay. See? I'm in between.
Right. You're sort of at the Al Roker stage right now. You lose it, and then you settle into a plateau, like a Mayan refugee.
No, what the problem is, I look at, this quarantine, we used to eat out all the time. And I knew every skinny menu you could get your hands on.
You also knew where I could get the Chicago deep dish pizza.
Yes, that's the problem. So, but here's the thing. So now that I'm cooking all the time, I don't really make anything that's particularly healthy. I just make stuff that's really amazingly delish, you know?
You keep showing pictures of these pies and cakes. What was that? It was a peanut butter chocolate something.
That was the one. Oh, that was the greatest thing I've made so far.
So good.
I'll push my own. It's at Frank DeCaro Show on Instagram.
Oh,
but
yes,
I follow a woman whose thing is Bake or Break, is what it's called.
Oh.
And she posted, I get up and I see the first thing, one eye opens, and the first thing I see is this recipe for peanut butter chip brownies from scratch. And they're like, easy, delicious. And they don't seem like much of anything, which is why they're perfect. And so I had them in the oven by noon. You know, I was like, that's how susceptible I am. It's someone's, you know, I get one Instagram post and I was like, oh, I could make these. I have all the ingredients. Well, they were good. But that's not my problem.
How quickly is the plate empty?
It took a couple days, but I bring some to the neighbors.
Right,
we have neighbors. It's cute. But
do you talk to your neighbors? I do.
Really? Yes. Well, not when I was in New York quite as much, but when I moved to LA, now we do. And we bought now. And so I have permanent neighbors, you know, and we bring no, it's good. Our group, we have a girl gang now on our floor, and I'm the youngest, which is good because they're in
Isn't that nice?
It's good because the one woman is mid-70s and the other woman is mid-80s. And so I'm the chicken in the group. And so we have our own girl gang. And we're the Peaches is the name of us. And it's because we complain about the young people who live in the building. We say, we will call the fuzz. We're the Peaches. That's our slogan now. So anyway, but my problem, speaking of peaches, my problem is I see fruit and not like us. I mean, fruit, like fruit, you know what I mean? And I see fruit and I look at it as an ingredient instead of a snack. And if I there was a time there when I was really watching what I was eating instead of making cocktails in the afternoon.
I will point out, very skinny. Look how skinny.
Oh, that was 2017. Wait a minute. There we go. See, I'm in between now, and it's a drag. I'm telling you, I've got to lose, and not the good kind of drag.
Is this the COVID kind of weight?
Yes.
All right.
Well, because it was Christmas weight.
Oh, right. And then the COVID weight.
No, in between 2 cruises back to back.
Oh, so you did the Golden Girls cruise.
I did the back-to-back Golden Girls cruises. So it was 2 cruises, Christmas, and then COVID. And so now my ass is a super spreader event.
So it is
ridiculous.
Christmas, cruising, and COVID. You've got the 3 C's.
There's a 4th one too. But
is that cranky?
That's now it's 5 apparently.
Oh my God.
But no,
you're not cranky when you eat sweets.
No,
you're very nice. We have been at parties together where we have both eaten a lot of sweets.
Well, I have to tell you, people say, have you not exploded? You and your husband have been at each other. Jim and I, we just had, a couple weeks ago, we had our 24th anniversary.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, the 16th of August was 24th. And
my mother's birthday is August 17th. Happy birthday. And Belinda Carlisle's birthday is August 17th. Madonna's birthday is August 16th, isn't it?
I can barely remember my husband's birthday.
All right. But you should know Madonna's birthday.
It's true. I pray to her. But no, we haven't gotten on each other's nerves. It's been all this time and we were used to living together and being joined at the hip.
But you also lived apart for a long time too.
We used to in New York. We had
coastal, weren't you?
Yeah, but we were always on one. We were together usually. I mean, there was
that's the mistake right there.
There was 1 year where we did have we were gone. We were apart for months. And when I was touring with Lisa Lampanelli, I was gone a lot. But
who also lost a lot of weight? Has she gained it all back to?
No, she had the operation, so it's not. She'd have to work really hard.
Then if she eats, she explodes, and the smells come. That's not
good. Well, I'm good at that too, to be honest with you. But but Jim and I get along famously, which is nice. So
he's a lovely person. He's lovely.
Is a sweetheart.
And he also loves a dessert.
He's more of a cheese person, but yes, he's more of a melted cheese guy. Yeah, we eat everything. But I inspire him to eat dessert.
That explains the 24 years.
Yeah, and we laugh. We laugh over the stupidest shit ever.
Do you think that that's
laugh.
more important than anything else, that you can laugh? Because if you want to spend time with somebody, you better find them amusing.
Oh, hell yes. Oh, I think you have to kind of be on the same page with your moral compass, but you also have to laugh a lot. Otherwise,
and happily, I have no morals, so it works out.
It's easier that way. I was going to say it works out though, because you know, after 24 years, you're not the voracious sexual animal you were in the beginning. You know,
and you were a sex fiend in your youth. I remember.
Oh, I wish. No, I never got any. I just never got anybody else involved. You know, I was a pervert. Fiend. Yeah, my thoughts are filthy, but I don't bother anybody with it. Usually, I just take care of it by myself. But you know, but we just, you know, you have the romantic side, but really, you ultimately that crap about marrying your best friend. You really do have to marry your best friend. Especially during COVID.
Especially if you're spending time with them. Yeah.
But we have lunch every day. We've had lunch every day for the last, well, probably 24 years. No, we used to work in an office, so that didn't count. Once we started both being freelance, you know, I mean, when did the radio show end? Whenever the radio show ended, 2016, 14, whenever it was.
Years ago, I think,
Yeah, 2016. When that ended, we've had lunch every day since. You know, and I like it that way. Lunch and dinner, we laugh.
You lost the weight while you're eating lunch. Isn't that interesting?
Well, it's true. Well, also, I was spiteful then. That's why I was good about losing weight.
Because you lost the job, so you wanted to look good.
Yeah, usually I do the other, but it was more with this. It was. At the time, it was very spiteful. It was like, oh, you fired the really fat guy. Well, wait till you see what you know. Now I don't have that. Now I'm just like, what's the world?
Jerry Mitchell was on the show, the great Broadway director, choreographer.
Oh, he's
Jerry
fabulous.
Mitchell. Yes. And Jerry Mitchell made a splash on Broadway, dancing practically naked on a drum in the Will Rogers Follies. Did you know Will Rogers?
We were in homeroom together.
Okay, all right, I was wondering. So
I did see that production, though. I did see Jerry on the drum.
You remember. Yes. And when they asked him if he wanted to be practically naked on a drum, he had just broken up with the boyfriend and was in the best shape of his life. And he said, when am I going to dance naked on a drum? Then now, when I'm ready. So I think getting heartbroken or losing a job is good incentive. You know, if you became a widow, you'd be fabulously gorgeous.
Yeah, but I need someone to listen. You know, we were talking today about so many performers were saying, "Oh my God, I need an audience," and you know, and I'm there. I said to Jim, I said, I had a national radio show for 12 years, and I'm sort of like, do I need an audience? I was like, I don't know. I mean, and yet I post all the time, and I'm making collages, and I'm always doing a gag here or there. But
and you amuse Jim.
I amuse him, and but more than anything, I amuse myself. I've got, because when you're young, I don't know about you, when I was young, I was my worst critic ever. I'm hard and tough. Now I'm my best audience. I think I'm hilarious. It's like I laugh and laugh.
And don't you have to be, I think, to be a performer, you really have to find yourself amusing, I think.
I don't know. I just think you have to feel the urge to, when someone says, we're tired of listening, you just keep talking anyway. I think that's how you become a performer. Because after a certain age, the whole message in Hollywood and publishing and everything is, you're old, we don't need to hear from you anymore. You know, and you're not in your 20s. So you become old, and you also don't care what they think. It's true, and you just keep talking. I'm telling you, just have to keep talking. Whether anyone's listening, I go, fuck you, I'm going to keep talking. I'm not done. I've got the talking stick. Remember on AbCab when she said,
I'll buy my own stick.
Can I buy my own talking stick? That's what doing a podcast is. You've bought your own talking stick. So we do these things. And and social media is the same thing. It's like my talking stick is there every time I need it. So
when I started doing my column, which is also just celebrated 25 years, so it's only a year older than your relationship.
Oh, and just as fresh. And
I've amused myself for 25 years.
Yes.
But when I started it, and when we started the website, people would complain, you should have this, you should have that. And a friend of mine always laughed, and we just say to them, get your own website. You know, that's my answer. You don't like it, you should do that. You know what you should do? Get your own website.
It's true. You know what someone did to me yesterday? I posted a picture of Lenny every night before I go to bed. I do a post called Go to Bed. And
Yes,
it's a shirt.
men.
It's shirtless, generally speaking, shirtless or a little more.
A little more.
Vintage celebrity hotties. Because remember, it'd be like a celebrity would take their shirt off. Oh, you know. Well, I posted a picture of Lenny Kravitz because let's face it, I've got eyes. He's fantastic.
He split the pants that time in front of the audience.
Yeah, like we don't all have that photo on our phones.
Know.
Please, we've all got that little gift of, boop, there it is.
You know, he was Roxy Roker's little boy.
I know. And not so little boy. Hello.
The Jeffersons, yes. Continue your story.
He is Helen Willis's son. He
was, yes.
So anyway, so I posted him last night, and I always make up a stupid comment. So I said the photo was him shirtless drinking a mug of coffee, and I said, "Well, I hope that's Sanka. Now go to bed." So this guy posted to me, "Listen, Grandpa, you know what Sanka is?" I look him up. His bio says born in 1961, and I said, "You're older than I am, you old bastard." Right. So I wrote, I said, "Get off my lawn," you know. Right. So hopefully he will.
And drink some Tang in the morning. Drink some Tang.
Yes. Anyway, but a little Sanka keep you going. But no, he's cute.
I found this picture of us. I think I've shown this before. Look how cute we are, Frank DeCaro.
It's true.
Look at that, and we both look so healthy. Is that the word? Healthy?
Healthy. I need an apple in my mouth, but thank you. You're very sweet. No.
But look at that. Now you've lost the weight right there. You gained it, then you lost it.
I know, and it's got it. But 2017, every time Facebook posts a picture, and I look, and it's like that. It's this, and I was like, 2017 was my year. Oh my God, I was at my goal weight, and I was do you really care? Yes, I care. I'm the vainest creature on the planet. I must say. I have a walk-in closet with 30 blazers, and I bet you they fit like this now. You know, I mean, nothing wants to close.
Are you able to walk into the closet still?
I could not with Jim at the same time, like on All in the Family. You know, the two go through. But I can still go through one at once. Yes, I can still, and yet I'm trying to wrap my brain around, we've got to exercise more and we've got to watch our diet. But there's that feeling of, what if this is the end? Okay.
I think that's
what if this is the end? It's like, yeah.
Frank, I keep saying to people that this could be it. And if this is it, why did I eat a salad?
Yeah, that's the way. Do you want to go out on kale, or do you want to go out on those brownies with the peanut butter chips? Honestly, I'd rather go on the peanut butter chips, especially because I don't do drugs, and I'm one of those people that I have a drink unless it's free. If I'm at a party, you've seen me. I've seen. At home, it's like I don't have. If I have a glass of wine, it's enough. It's if I could have the relationship with food that I have with alcohol, it'd be perfect. Because I don't do drugs at all.
But if it went the other way, you'd be a big drunk.
Oh my God, I would be lying in a gutter. Well, I'm still lying in a gutter, but
perhaps you'd be happier in the gutter, drunk.
No, I don't know. I'm pretty happy when I'm eating a fudgicle. It's still,
But the people in the gutter don't know about the COVID. They don't have CNN. They don't in the gutter.
I don't. Well, you know what? Speaking of that sort of thing, you got to limit your intake of information in terms of. I
haven't turned the TV on in months, aside from the Hallmark Channel after 10 o'clock.
Well, here's what of course, it's good rerun. I was going to say, but the thing that's important to me is with this is the litmus test. If you turn on the TV and there's someone on there and they're orange, okay? If that's orange, you turn it off. If you turn it on and they're Italian, like Cuomo or
I enjoy
Pelosi or Fauci, then if they're Italian American, you go, "Oh, I'll turn this up," and you listen, okay? But if they're orange, mute. You don't need not even a word.
But if it's
can go weeks where I've never heard that voice. It's like,
but if it's Godfather 3, turn it off because you don't need those Italians either.
Although
It's coming back, you know. Francis Ford Coppola is recutting it, and I think he's cutting that daughter out. That's what I know. I just read this on Deadline.
I gotta read it. Because that's spite. That's Italian. But we're good at that. You know how, well, you're not Italian, but Italians are good with spite. So
let's talk about drag queens, Frank DeCaro.
I love them. Have
you done drag? Have you done drag?
I've done a couple of times, but it's real, talk about dipping a toe in. I played someone's Jewish mother in a web series called Spooners. My name was Goldie.
Heard of it. Did anybody see it?
No, but I was some might have. It was very cute.
Go look it up, people.
Spooners. Spooners.
What did that mean? Was that
spoon when you're in bed?
Eating? Oh, I thought it was an eating thing.
When you're in bed and you lie next to each other, spooners.
Never done it. No, haven't.
Oh, it's cute. And then I did Fatty Lapone, which for
that was
my
during
friend did
the Sunset Boulevard years, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was. I flew to London to see her because that's how
I did too. Did you know that?
What?
I saw her after she was fired.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, it was the best.
Oh wait! Apropos of nothing, the gayest thing I ever did was I flew to London to see Lucy Arnaz in the musical of Witches of Eastwick. If you fly to London for Lucy Arnaz, you're a big homo. You're a gay. No, that's good. Yeah. So we did do that. And what the hell were we talking? Oh, me doing drag. And I did Fatty Lapone. And the guy who's the guy who played my son in Spooners, or the guy whose mother I played, is really more the case. He had me in a music video of his. He was a comedian and a musician, and I played his mother in that. So that was pretty fun. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and one year I just got into the one Halloween, gay Christmas. I
think George Michael recorded that.
I tied off a leopard print crop top thing and I started playing with lipstick, and I was never a kid who did makeup. I don't know why. I'm a big gay since I was little.
Now, why leopard print for Christmas?
No, it was gay Christmas. It was Halloween. So,
all right.
It really was Halloween. But I decided
to be leopard print. Were you a leopard?
No, I was. I had a wig. I had a Hawaiian wig, so it was long and straight like Cher. And then I found some ribbons from the Chanel store, and I tied Chanel ribbons. And then I decided she was Chanel. And then I did huge red lips that took 3 days to go away. And then my husband looked at me and he goes, "Go get an eyebrow pencil." And I did. And he drew in the freckles like on. You know that show Sábado Gigante? So I was like...
Sábado Gigante with Tony Fernando. I love it.
Right. So I looked like one of the girls on there, or like a very hairy hee-haw honey, maybe. And so I went out in the street because we lived near the parade. And men will touch you when you're... They think you want to be fresh.
We had Buck Angel on this show Tuesday.
I love Buck. Buck is hot.
And we talked about that you have to love yourself, and that the big girls on Latin television are the ones that get all the attention. They love big girls in spandex.
It's true. I remember one time, first time, there was a guy in I work with, and he knew he shouldn't have said it, but I was thrilled. No, this was when I was at Newsday 100 years ago, but I was complaining about that. I said, I said, I can't get arrested. I said, guys don't even look at me. I said, look at how big my butt is. And he was African American. He just looked at me. He said, you have been hanging around with the wrong crowd.
Right.
And so I was like, she's right. My big booty makes some people. My husband loves my tush.
Does he really?
Oh my God, he looks at me from behind.
That what
24.
You are a boss.
No, I'm not in anything. I stay on your. I'm a versatile bottom. But the best thing I do is I say, stay on your own side. Leave me alone. Are we in a hotel? Go over there. Stop bothering me.
Not even the spooning, Frank.
No, we smooch. We sit and watch TV in each other's arms and all that crap every night.
Do you?
No, we do. Yeah.
I don't picture that. Could you send me a picture of that?
He likes that. What can I tell you? My husband I don't like anybody to touch me. I was like, if I know your name, don't touch me. If you're a stranger and it's very dark, we could talk. But it's like, if I know you and like you, why would I want you to put your mouth on it? I don't get it. It's like, why would you do that to someone who likes you? It's like, ugh. Hi, I love your work. I respect your work so much. No. You're the kindest human being I know. Put your mouth on this. Why would you ask somebody to do that? It's a horrible. If it's some scumbag you met in a bar, that's different.
Who doesn't know who you are.
Yes,
you
that's
like anonymous sex in gas station restrooms, Frank. You heard it here first, people.
Not no more.
No,
as Edith Bunker would say, not no more.
All right. Frank DeCaro, your book, the drag book, is there it is. It's encyclopedic. I don't know if that's
encyclopedic.
Well, all right.
Only one dick. Yes.
Well, I like extra dick, Frank DeCaro.
Thank you.
Okay. But why did you write this book?
Believe it or not, they came to me Rizzoli came to me for lunch, and they said, someone needs to do a book on drag, and we think it should be you. And
did they see you in the spandex at Christmas?
They did. No, they all the publisher knew me, and he knew how much I love pop culture. And then I started to realize that I really was drag hag number one, as I like to say. I really have had a front row seat to the best drag performers ever, including both of our guests, today. I mean, I've seen one of them I've seen many times, and the other, when someone is making history on Broadway, and you're there to see it firsthand, maybe you do get to see a lot of stuff, and you get, so I had seen Sylvester live, and I'd seen Flip Wilson live, and Charles Pierce and Jim Bailey, and all of these legendary performers. And then I had people on the radio show that I'd met, and and I followed
radio show.
So say again?
The defunct radio show. I think the whole station is defunct.
Yeah, they got rid of us all. Yeah, I thought they should burn the building down. Because to me, it's it's one thing to get rid of the whole station. It's better if you burn everything down. But
they kept that Michelangelo.
Michelangelo and one other person got to stay. Yes.
Who is that?
I don't say his name.
Oh, well, let's get to our guest. So I guess the one that you were talking about who made history was incredible, was the incredible Peppermint on Broadway in the Go-Go's musical Head Over Heels. Look, there she is. She's not head over heels there, but she's posing. I love Peppermint. And then we have, of course, there's an action shot with all these hands coming onto her like a tentacles around her.
That's the way I like sex. That's it. See, exactly that. Yes. Okay. Lots of hands.
Once again, notice there all of his partners would be behind him. But I don't know Peppermint's sexual practice. I guess we will find out, because here is the fabulous Miss Peppermint. Look.
Yay. Hello.
Oh, dressed to go somewhere much better than this show.
Yeah, well, I have an MRI after this because I slipped on a silk cape in my house and damaged some part of my lower something. And
did you still eat it? Did you still eat the cake?
I ate the cake. I was writing for that cake and I ate it. And actually, that picture with all the tentacles, that's not necessarily how I like sex, but that's definitely how I like to eat.
Look at that. Isn't that fabulous, though?
It's wonderful. It was a great experience. And yes, it was an historic experience. It was life-changing for me. And it was great to hear people at the stage door, youngsters, talking about how much they loved the show.
And again, now with this opening night, I remember you in this dress. What was this?
Yeah, that was opening night at some Italian restaurant on the East Side for our opening. I remember what it was called. Oh,
yes, that's right. That we had the opening night party way down on the East Side.
Yeah, we had to traipse over there, but that was a lot of fun. It was great. Yeah, that was opening night, and I have not, and I'm actually going to be burning that dress because I can't fit into it.
But that was, again, to be, I mean, and they kept making a big deal out of you being the first transgender performer on Broadway openly, because there might have been somebody else, we don't know, but really proud of it. And you made history.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was something they were seeking out when they were auditioning. I think they kind of navigated to that place during the audition process, because I know that they auditioned many other people who are not of trans experience. And for me, the best way for me to deal with the show, audition for the show and process it, was just to focus on the work if there's accolades, great. If not, whatever. This will be, for me, it's a Broadway show. For other people, it's a trans woman in a Broadway show.
Really?
But it was a great experience. It was great to become a part of the Broadway family, and then being able to connect with this particular cast in a very close way.
The message was great.
Oh yeah, it was a really diverse. I think it was kind of before its time. If Head Over Heels had come out now after 2020, I mean, Broadway's closed right now, but if it had come out after this past summer with all of the conversations that have been going on, I think the general Broadway audience would probably have received the show a little bit better. It's no surprise it wasn't like a hit in terms of attendance, but the people who went and saw it seemed to be excited by the queer themes and the storyline and the inclusivity that was going on in the show.
And did you do it in Oregon as well? Did you do the?
I did not, darling. I would have been walking on a cane if I'd done it in Oregon. For the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, the show was a reported 4 hours long. Yeah, and darling, hell no. Never. But some of the cast members from the original cast on Broadway had done it. Bonnie Milligan, who's a lovely
unbelievable.
She did it. There's a few others that I think did it in Oregon. Not that many. But no, I wasn't. I joined the cast when it was Broadway bound, and my first performances were in San Francisco, which is where we opened.
The Current, right?
Yeah, the Current. Mm-hmm.
And what I loved is that I judged you, just as I judge all performers, by the performance. Whether you're transgender doesn't mean anything to me. It's like when they say, "Oh, they're good for whatever." Yeah. For a big girl, she's good. I just say, is it? And your voice, your acting, you have presence.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely. I think it was a role. Clearly, it was a role that was tailored for me because I originated it. But it was a role that seemed to speak really perfectly to me, and they were really happy to have all of my sort of isms, and me being able to bring a sense of drag to it, of course, was great. And so this role the character was non-binary, but they were very like flamboyant and draggy, and that's my favorite place to live.
You were damn good in the show. I mean, that's ultimately the bottom line of it. It was really, and as you said before, people who saw it adored it. It's like, and something being really good doesn't necessarily equate to filling seats, because the opposite is very often true. You're like, that is still running. It's like, how could that be? It's terrible, and it'll run for forever. So. Oh well, just because it's good doesn't mean it finds its audience, unfortunately.
We should tell people that it was based on the music of the Go-Go's and based on the story of Arcadia, somewhat.
Loosely, yeah. So it's hard, and nobody will ever even understand that, even to this day. But you have to see it to believe it. Now, the good news is, Frank, is that they went to licensing right away. And so schools all over have been performing this. There's obviously several productions that were even supposed to be coming this year that obviously had to get canceled because of COVID. But, lots of students were able to connect with this, which is ultimately, this is a story for young people to really like work on and be resonate with and connect to.
Oh, it was the kind of show that if you're like 15 and it's one of your first shows that you're going to see, you'd go out of your mind and you'd be a theater goer for life. It would be, it would do for a 15-year-old what a chorus line did for me at that age. You're like, oh my God, I want to go to the theater forever. So,
well, what I heard was that you had kids that did come back over and over again.
Oh yeah,
group.
Yeah, there was lots of. I think a lot of Broadway shows find that that little group of people that are diehard fans, but we definitely had. Lots of kids that were coming to the show with their parents, and they would just bring their parents back again. And there were some people who had seen all of the productions wherever they were, whether it's Oregon or San Francisco or wherever. And so and a lot of people were, happy, and many were in tears because they, had expressed, this is, I'm coming out, and I'm either trans or non-binary or something like that. the subject matter seemed to be what spoke to these people the most.
And you had a very hot leading man. I remember that. Well, it was Andrew Duran.
Andrew Duran. Yeah, he is sexy, isn't he?
Sexy and very limber. I remember.
Very limber and really good in drag.
Yes.
I think.
I was, and I almost didn't recognize him at first. I'm like, wow, he's got it down.
Yeah, he had it down. I think it was perfect casting, if I say so myself. He was wonderful and such a sweetheart. And we're very good friends to this day. And we talk all the time. And yeah, I think the casting was excellent. Again,
we should mention, Rachel York and Jeremy Kushner and Bonnie Miller, as you said. I mean, oh my God, just unbelievable people.
Mm-hmm. So talented.
Where did you come from? Where are you from?
I'm a little lady born in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Hershey, Pennsylvania. That doesn't seem to me a drag capital.
It's not, darling. It's a chocolate capital. But yeah, that's basically where I was born. And then we moved to Wilmington, Delaware, which is near Philadelphia, which is also not a drag capital, but it was close to Philadelphia. I started drag my drag persona was born in Delaware, in Wilmington, Delaware, at the homely court, which is what they called the little contest for the cross-dressing contest that we had in high school during homecoming. And so I entered the homely court instead of the homecoming court, the homely court. But honey, I was stunning. And I went to the theater department and got my costume for the homely court. Got a really cheap, like moth-eaten fur coat that they had from the 1800s and some shoes that did not fit. There were some slides, but I was able to have half of my foot. I thought I was being so intuitive and so innovative by having half of my foot just off the back of the shoe because the whole thing didn't fit. And I was like, oh, we can just put half your foot in it. And so that's what I did. And I won. I look terrible. I will kill anyone who shows the pictures.
Let's show a picture. No, I don't.
And what's that called with the back of the foot? Isn't that called serving biscuit?
Biscuit, darling. Yeah. Biscuit. I was serving biscuit before I knew, honey. I could have opened my own Popeyes.
And when did you decide this was your path, that this really connected with you on a visceral level?
Well, it didn't even occur to me, as much as I loved theater and performing and everything, which I did, as a kid, and then in community theater before high school, and then obviously in drama class in high school. As much as I loved all that things, it never really occurred to me that one could have an actual career in entertainment. I don't know why. Just where I was from, everybody, even the people who had been in, like, the great singers and great performers in school or wherever they were, everyone would go and get a job at a bank. And that was your life. Oh. And so that's what I did initially, right after high school. And then I was like, okay, this is clearly not for me. There was lots of reasons for that. And then I auditioned and moved to New York City to go to art school. And so that's when I really said, oh, this can be a career.
And who are your inspirations? Because everybody we've had on the show can look to somebody that when they saw them, they said, that's it. I get it.
Well, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't say that RuPaul was an inspiration. There were so many history-making moments and just memories that I have from Ru earlier on. But I would say that the person if I could emulate their career pre or post Super Bowl nipple slip, would probably be Janet Jackson. Whatever, I'll do the nipple slip. I've done it.
Why wouldn't you? It helped her career. And if
we'll all do it. If you do it, we'll do it. I'll totally whip it out.
I would let Justin Timberlake grab any part of my body.
My Lord, would I?
Anyone named Justin, actually. Justin Trudeau, any of the Justins. Yeah.
I'll loan you all those arms from the show.
So where did you really where did it come from inside of you that you realized, you know what, I could be a performer. I could really move an audience.
Well, I don't know that I ever necessarily learned that initially, but I went to school, like I said, and in college I learned sort of the tools, the technical side of acting and performing and singing and things like that, and that was great for me. But I was also told I remember this so clearly, that I would never work in the business. There just weren't any roles for someone like me. I was told that by my professors in college of the school that I was paying. Yeah, and so I was like, ugh. So I finished my degree anyway, and then meanwhile, to make ends meet and really just to have a good time in the weekends, I was working in the clubs here in New York City at all the gay bars and clubs. My first big club was the Tunnel.
The Tunnel, Frank, remember the Tunnel.
Tunnel was fun.
Who doesn't, darling? And so that's where I was working weekly, every weekend, earning $50 a week. First, I started doing the ropes at the Tunnel on Saturday nights at the curfew party, but then I ended up going inside, and I was a part of like the regular performing cast of Queens. And that's really when I was able to take kind of what I was learning in college at acting class and bring it to the clubs at night. And people would say, gosh, you really performed that Whitney Houston number so well, and I'd be like, okay, great. I think I have a knack for something here.
And you obviously connected. You really did create. I always think that the best drag performers think like a writer, director, performer. They have to really think a choreographer.
All of it, hairstylist and all that stuff.
Makeup, artist.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those, I can't say it's not celebrated careers, especially these days, or professions, but it's definitely one that, it would behoove you, and you will probably succeed better if you are, a Renaissance woman. And so, or Renaissance person. And so, you learn, you bring your skills that you have like innately, and then you also pick up some tools of the trade and along the way, especially New York queens. I think big city queens for sure. Definitely.
But there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition in New York. Does that make you better?
Makes you angrier.
Really?
And that makes you better. I think so. Yeah. When I don't know the path to sort of like being a show queen in other cities, but in New York, at least it probably changes over time. But in New York, when I was, sort of cutting my teeth, it was, the contests. That's all there were. It was like drag competitions, and you had to do drag competitions in the early 2000s in order to get your ass on a stage. Otherwise, nobody was going to give you a chance. And so when you would eventually sort of excel at that, then you would, be given the opportunity to have your own show. And that was what a lot of the girls were doing. Now, luckily, somehow I circumvented that process. And I, did a few guest performances, and then was invited to have a show. And so that's how it worked for me. But that's really when I was able to say, okay, I can turn this into like some money here, And
RuPaul's Drag Race, good experience, bad experience, want to kill them all. Which one?
All of the above, darling.
Because you talk about how the New York drag scene must have gotten you mad. That's a situation where you either rise or fall, or every week you're going up and down.
It's both it's usually both simultaneously. Spiritually rise, physically fall, or vice versa, something like that. And it was an experience. It was a very tough experience. It was not easy by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm really thankful that I did it,
And it raised you to a national platform. And
my gosh,
how fabulous is that?
So grateful. I'm so grateful.
But you were on your way. You were on your way to that anyway, because it's like anyone with any ear to the ground had heard of Peppermint, and our next guest as well. It's like you don't have to be from that city to know that person. And
I know Miss Richfield the second day I was here.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the urge to swim in, as I like to say, always swim in deep water is something that the best people like you and Miss Richfield and all, all of us on here are, it's I need to swim in as deep a water with the best swimmers possible, or I'm not going to be happy. It's that challenging yourself to be great. Or you'd rather fail on a big scale than not try at all. I think that's what really makes the difference. Is you're like, I'm going to get out there and give it 110%. Also, I was going to say, and not to commandeer your show, Billy, but I was going to say drag performers, and why I wrote the book was, to me, drag performers are the link to classic show business in the sense of, I'm going to make this audience forget their troubles for an hour or 90 minutes or 2 hours or whatever it is. I'm going to lift them up. And I think, all of us, it's like putting stuff on the internet or all the stuff we're doing now. I tell people, it's like we're in the USO together. And you're like, well, I can't carry anything heavy, but I can make you laugh for 5 minutes. It's like, I can do something to make you feel better. And I think that, in the war effort, we're like, oh, put that whack dress on. We're going to sing the Andrews Sisters number, and something, but I think that's the spirit that unites the best performers. But drag, to me, it's they really are like, it's that you ain't seen nothing yet kind of thing, which is like 100 years old, that saying, but it really is, oh wait, it's like there's more, and you really dazzle. And I think that's you lift us all up, and that's why I'm in awe of it.
I think there's also a connection to an older style of entertainment, like burlesque, like vaudeville, where you all work together, and it doesn't matter if your act is completely different from whomever was on before you. You could reinvent show business with your moment. And I think that's fascinating.
It's entertainment that's actually entertaining. That's the difference. Okay.
Even it's one of the professions or jobs or art forms, really, that allows you that borrows from everything that Billy was saying before. It's kind of a combination of all those things. It's not only very entertaining and takes from like a vaudevillian kind of sensibility, but also from fashion, from what's going on politically. You can use drag to talk about those things.
Satire, of course.
Sex and satire, and then also sexuality and gender. It obviously plays on, and so it's all of those things. And that, I think that's why it's like cockroaches and drag queens are going to be around after this damn pandemic.
and share.
And entertain and educate us, which I think is really important. I think the greatest performers do make you think. And I think
the funny person can get the message across, because it's that's the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. It's I'm laughing. Oh, wait a minute, that's the truth. And you've already swallowed it and ingested it. And
he's
got to make sense
to
of it.
swallowing that. Frank DeCaro.
I'm going back to my beverage.
To the gutter. Peppermint, I'm putting you backstage, but don't touch anything, because we're going to bring you right back after we talk with Miss Richfield.
Sounds good. I'll shave.
All right. Oh my God, we can watch that. We'll put the special camera on. All right, we'll see you in a few moments. Oh, Frank, it's a hell of a show, I have to tell you.
That's a pay-per-view special I would watch.
Oh,
it's like,
my God,
peppermint shaving. Oh boy, I'm in.
Beaver cam. I love a beaver cam. I do. I think Sharon Stone invented that.
She did.
Yes. Well,
it was a split screen. It was good. Yeah, like this.
Once they put the light meter between your legs, the magic happens, Frank DeCaro. You know that. Anyway, our next performer is another legend, and she's coming to us directly from Provincetown. Miss Richfield, 1981. Oh my God, look at that. She's had work done since I last saw her.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
I love your mask.
I have my mask, because we're very mask compliant.
Oh, I have had many sexual partners make me wear a mask all the time.
I also have my...
What do you have? Oh, we're looking at her pussy. Look at that. Hold on. Wait, let's get a pussy shot. There you go.
Look at him. Look how handsome he is.
Look, he loves you. What's his name?
Lewis.
Oh, he's beautiful. I have allergies. So, The allergies
He
are getting to
joins
me
me
already.
for bingo. I do my bingo online.
Let's show the ppicture so we have it right there. Bingo.
Yeah, every Monday,
bonanza.
and an occasional trivia. And I'm always very careful. I'm a veteran online, so I always keep my phone close by so no one picks up the receiver and interrupts us. No one
That's
can
an
use
old
the phone while we're online.
Show the viewers at home that you turn this dial.
I can't lift up the receiver, I'll disconnect us.
Oh, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
No,
lift up
The technology, it's like the bat phone.
I can't believe you don't know that.
Oh, well, I'm a lot
pick up
younger than you, Miss Richfield.
Is that a princess
That's a
phone or is that a
princess
trim line?
Look at that. It's
And look what
Sanka, you've got a Sanka
Little
mug. I love you.
I'm not.
that was
between.
weird. I had this. I was actually drinking. I'm drinking out of this. When you said that, I thought, "Wow, great minds!" Right? I know.
Or even us. It's true.
Old
or
minds.
or you.
Old minds. Exactly. Miss Richfield, you're in Provincetown. How is Providence? I was just there, but I didn't get to see you because
you
have sold out every show.
Well, it's 46 seats, sweetheart.
Well, 46 seats, exactly. But
I think I could just put a cardboard cut up out there and sell 46 seats. That's not that hard. Everybody can sell 46 seats. It is really a testament to you because I checked the website, which is the Pilgrim House's website. Oh, look, now she's moving around. It's choreography with Miss Richfield. Look at that. It's very fussy. I look at the website, and when you look to see who has tickets available, yours are sold out weeks in advance. I mean, which is incredible. I've been here since Jesus was in pigtails, sweetheart. I've been around. When you've been here for that many years, Varla and I and the old guard, we can sell the tickets. But what's really encouraging is that people are in town. That's what's really encouraging because
we going to shows. God bless you. There's a show to go to.
We were worried people weren't going to show up. We were really scared that people were just going to be too afraid, but they're coming to town. So thank you to everyone.
There's not a lot of coming going on in Provincetown.
Well, I don't know what you're referring to because
the crew quarters. I hear that there are sex parties. There are sex parties at the crew quarters. I
don't know. I don't want to have to call my pastor after this and explain what's going on. So I will tell you this much though.
He knows.
I do. Fabulous place, and we're doing the best we can. And my neighbors are trying to shut us down.
Who?
Which is a hair salon.
Oh, fuck.
Right? Trying to shut us down. Can you believe that?
Because
they think we're too loud.
What is
their problem? I'm too loud.
Are they transphobic? Are they transphobic?
No, one of them does drag. One of them's a guy that dresses up like a gal.
So they're jealous of you, Miss Richfield.
I think it's just weird, personally. No, I don't know what to think of it. It's just it's made the summer very hard. Because I'm trying to be cheerful and uplifting, and it's a little bit hard to have, that going on at the same time. So I have to shut all that away. You have to go, and I have to squeeze myself into that happy place because, I have to be happy,
Well, especially because your show is called, there it is, Sunshine, Lollipops, and Rainbows. Look at you, Miss Richfield.
How could you try to close something like that down?
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
You're spreading love, it looks like to me.
I'm spreading whatever $35 will buy. That's how much the tickets are with a small handling fee that I don't see. So, but it's 46 seats because, and you know what's good about it though, is the governor of our fine state has really deemed it to be safer if we don't get into bigger groups. And so as much as I'd like to make more money, I have to say I am really grateful. And I'm really grateful too that we're out of doors. We're not inside. I wouldn't want to be inside. I will go on the record as saying now, I don't eat in restaurants inside. I don't want to
really.
And
you're certainly not going to that hair salon, Miss Richfield.
No, we're not. And
No.
you shouldn't be either.
I'm not going.
I'm not.
I hope I
I'm
don't
definitely not.
Frank is
name.
the only one that's getting his hair cut.
Not there.
Exactly. You should go. Frank can go. The rest of us, we're off
Frank can
limits.
go.
What I should do is send Lewis. Just send Lewis.
That's
Have Lewis
right.
get his hair done. Anyway, so it's been kind of a struggle, but at the same time,
hello.
it's been really wonderful. It has been really, people have been wonderful. You came to town. Lots of people have been coming to town. Frank, I don't think you've come to town yet, have you?
If I were on the East Coast, we would totally have driven up, but I'm not getting on a
Where
plane.
are you? Are you in the
I'm
West?
in California. I'm in California. Yeah, we live out here mostly.
Oh, what are you doing out there? That is so 1990s.
That's where I'm still pretending it is the
I mean,
90s, actually.
In the 70s, and then now they were all moving back east. You got to come back.
I go back and forth. We still have our house, so we go back and forth.
Well, you have houses but how much are you paying him?
Exactly.
Wait,
I don't pay him a cent. He's
I'm
not
married-
coastal.
What can I say? I married well. I did. I married well.
Oh, slept
did
his
you
way to
marry
the
well?
middle.
Dang. Did you really? I didn't know that.
Oh,
Always the
Jim
people
has
that look
money.
like they don't have money that have money.
No, Jim has Golden Girls money.
Well, no, I have it's my childhood home. It's not like I bought something.
And
It's good to be an only child
And
because
the
then everything
ghost
is yours.
there.
So
The ghost of Frank's father is there. We can't get
No,
into that story.
I've got friends. My friends live there, so it's good. It's like let them stay there.
Where is
They
this?
left
New York?
in New Jersey. So I have a house in New Jersey.
Jersey.
Yes, the heart of Soprano land, and my
Thank
friends
God
live
I'm not
there, so
carrying
it's
any
good.
cash, as I always say. Thank God I'm not
No.
carrying any cash.
Miss Richfield, how did you get started, Miss Richfield?
Well, I got started, in this crazy world of entertainment because, I've been a bingo gal for many, many years. But where I first got started working with the homos was at the Gay 90s in downtown Minneapolis, which is still called the Gay 90s, but it's not quite as gay as it used to be. But it used to be the place to hang out. And I did that. Oh, you know where I did? Oh, I take that back. Let me back up even further. AIDS was actually, back when it was popular, back a few years ago, and, back when everybody was talking about it, and that was back then. Anyway, and I remember I was working with the Minnesota AIDS Project. I also worked with a beautiful hospice. I was very involved in the AIDS community and still am to some degree, but I was really involved back then. I was volunteering at an AIDS hospice. I was working at the AIDS Project, and we had to have our carpeting in our building completely redone because it was an old building. The carpeting was really bad. So we had to move everybody around while we were recarpeting, right? Oh. And that was a lot of work because everybody still needed services. You still have clients coming. They still need services. People need attention, So everyone's moving around this building. So when we got all done, we had a little party for the staff to say thank you. Thank you for being so helpful to us all. They had such good attitudes. It's nonprofit. People are willing to hang in there, And so I made, and as a way of saying thank you, keychains out of the old carpeting, not the new carpeting. I took the old carpeting and made keychains for all 60 of the, at the time there was 60 people working. So I made 60 keychains, and then I
of the old carpeting. Out of the old
around and gave people carpet key. I was carpetina. I was a carpet dress with a carpet bag and a beautiful, and I walked around and gave everyone keychains to say thank you for being so patient with us. That was my very, very first thing. But then when I started working, I worked at the Gay 90s, and then I went to the Bryant Lake Bowl, which is an amazing place. It's still there in South Minneapolis, and just a little 99-seat theater. And then that's when I started doing shows. And so it's just been really, and then I didn't start P-Town until 03. So all of that was like 96, 97, and then 03 is when I got to P-Town. And to be really honest with you guys, that's what's made it possible for me to be a full-time, say artist. I'm not
and
dressed. I don't know.
How did the character really develop? Because
that's good.
The character
That's
is
good.
so
Let's go with
specific.
that.
The character is so specific.
Yeah. You know why I did that?
Why?
Because it's less to remember. If you just don't.
And it will never be. And because it started
the same. Don't change the material.
And Miss Richfield, can I say it started outdated, so it could never be dated.
Exactly.
Did you think about that?
There's a compliment in there somewhere.
There is. You
Why?
might have to fish
Somewhere.
around.
That in the book. Why didn't we think of putting that in the book? That is
There you
genius.
go. Hey,
Because
thank you.
it
You're
started
welcome.
outdated, right? The hair, the glasses, everything.
Well,
And
I've heard
this is
that.
the look.
I have to say, it was Gary Marshall. I just stole that from Gary Marshall. That Happy Days, when he came up with it, he said it's dated, it's in the 50s, so it could play forever because it will always be nostalgic. And I think there's something brilliant about that.
And there's also something, and I didn't know this when I created this, so I would love to take credit for all of this, but I really didn't know until I was into it quite a ways. And someone said, wow, what you're doing is genius.
Well, it
And I
is.
said, really? And they said, yeah, because it's so specific. And they said, good comedy has a location and is very specific. And I thought that's right, because all my New York friends talk about being in New York, talk about grown up Jewish, talking about, they're talking about all those things that we can connect to, even though you don't live in New York, you visited New York, or you want to hear about New York. And so it's because I thought, God, is this going to be too specific? And it turned out to be a blessing. And again, I wish I could take credit for it, but it's just like, what I will take credit for is that I, like Frank said, I showed up, you just keep showing
Did
up.
the work.
You're not always invited, but
It doesn't matter.
And also, let's pay a compliment here. Ms. Richfield, your crowd work, as the people in the biz call it, your relationship with the audience is brilliant. You were wondering where we were going with that. No, it is. You put the audience in the palm of your hand, not in the dirty way, like Billy.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
I have done crowd work at the Dick Doc, but I think it's different.
Well,
it's
the crowd thing is, I always tell people, Doc, always Doc.
Yeah.
What I always say though is, if you don't have material, you got to talk to the audience. And that's
but you have,
what happens.
there are so many performers who either are audience work performers or scripted performers. You are able to do both seamlessly, and I think that's what's genius about it.
You're kind.
No, he's not saying anything that's not true. I mean, we would read you to filth if we didn't agree with that. We would say horrible things, but you're terrific.
Yeah, if RuPaul were here, Frank's first thing would be, why didn't you let me interview you for the book?
No, it'd be, why didn't you let me be a judge on your friggin' show? Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, we never liked
that would be my question.
Yes.
Yes,
do you have any feelings about RuPaul and the success?
You know what I do? I do have feelings about RuPaul. A couple of things. I mean, one of the things I have to say
he's holding up two
so
fingers.
impressed with because I don't really know Ru at all. I don't know Ru personally at all. But I will say that I have the most respect for people who are willing, like I was saying, who are willing to keep coming back and keep working on it. And, they had that talk show that didn't go well. Remember that? And
I do remember VH1.
The word was, the word from the critics was, oh, that's going to set drag back and all this other stuff. And it didn't,
No.
She got back on her feet. It took a few years. They had to figure things out. But I really respect that. And I don't know Ru personally. I don't know on a personal level what he's like to work with. I've never worked with him before. But I just say I have the most respect for people like that. I look at, and like people like Tina Fey is another one who, like, my God, could you think of one more thing to do? I mean, how smart, right? How smart can you be to figure out?
So what you're saying is RuPaul is the drag version of Tina Fey. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
That's exactly what I heard too. Yes.
I wish I had that much, talent in my pinky, because
you do. Shut up, you do.
So amazing to how ingenious some of these people are. And so they're inspiring. And I think they're inspiring, they're inspiring to me, but let's face it. I mean, I'm going to be like, in about 5 years, I'm going to be like Kate Smith, that last time they wheeled her out.
Oh, in the chair.
It's going to be, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing it. They're going to be holding my legs up for LOVE, but I'll be there.
I think she was missing a leg at that point. I think the diabetes.
That's why she didn't.
That was Tony.
She was never known for the LOVE. That's why. She wore a therapeutic hose. It wouldn't work. But anyway, but I do have to say it's inspiring to the young people. And I love that. I love that because that's our future. And no matter what you think, and I know there's a lot of opinions about Drag Race and all that stuff, I think it's inspiring to our young people. I think it's going to change the discussion about, it already has, about gender, about, well, you know, Pepper, look at that. It's amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
Right? And I mean, us
Who
old
would have
dogs,
thought?
and I'm talking
Who
about
would have
everybody on the
thought
screen right now.
20 or 30 years ago, or even 5 years ago, who would have thought a transgender person or a drag queen or anything would be on Broadway?
Never. Like, you would have just been like, maybe 25 years from now. And like, look how fast that happened, how fast that can happen. The danger, though, and this is what I tell the kids, is that as fast as we move forward, we can step back. And it's like, you've got to keep pushing forward. And it's hard to encourage the kids. They don't remember before AIDS. Some of us do. Yeah, I mean, I was in college. And so, so I remember before that. And, but a lot of the kids don't remember, don't realize that, geez, you know, in our lifetime, people were losing their kids. They were losing their lives. They were losing their jobs.
Yeah.
You know.
And this is our second pandemic.
Right.
It almost makes you think.
Makes you wonder.
Almost. I was going to say that, to me, the revolution of Drag Race, though, is that drag performers get to be whole people. When we were kids, you had to pretend, I'm a gender illusionist, and I have no sex life, and no family, and no lover, and I just exist when I come out on that stage. And now you can just be an American, and you're like, what do you do for work? Well, I put on a dress and I go and do, and I also want love and that you get to be just I mean, there were always outlets for people to perform, but the idea that you could perform and bring your truth to a drag character is new. And I mean, the idea that your mother shows up or your boyfriend shows up or whatever, or your wife, maybe it's your wife, and you're straight, whatever. But it's like you get to be a whole person. And
I remember
that's a
when I
deal.
first started, in the field, not that many years ago, it was like 96, 97, 98, everyone was doing celebrities.
That's right. You were an impersonator.
And now you look at, I mean, they make them do celebrities as part of an exercise, but none of them really are doing celebrities. They're themselves.
They create a persona.
They're creating their own. And I love, the first one I saw was like Jinx and Ben were the first two that I really got to know. And that just turned me on to the whole thing. At first I was like, I don't know, do I like this or do I not? And I met those girls and I was like, wow, that is inspiring. If that's what RuPaul's Drag Race is putting out, then hats off to them, for their work, because that's amazing. It's just fun to see the kids get their own voice, be their own thing. You know what I mean? Not copy anybody else. They're doing all this original stuff. They're amazing. So,
but what I love, Miss Richfield, what I love is that people adore you. They imitate you. A friend of mine sent me this photo from an Atlantis cruise. Do you know the photo I'm going to show? This is a photo of the Richfieldettes.
Oh, yeah. That one. Yay.
Look at that. It is a bevy of Miss Richfield.
Was that Jim David that sent that to you?
No, it was
one of those.
My proofreader, my longtime proofreader, Trey Buckingham, sent it to me. He's somewhere.
Gorgeous.
Look at that. And you're the prettiest one in the group.
And the only problem we had, the only problem we had was that people really thought it was me. And so, because they brought like 3 different outfits. And so they were in, 3 different nights. But it was amazing. They had all the wigs shipped to the ship separately. I mean, it was pretty impressive. Let me tell you, those guys.
And look, you have a Miss Richfield of color in the bottom right. Look at that.
Right, exactly.
You've got a little bit of everything.
We were way ahead of our time, yes.
Has there been an Asian Miss Richfield?
Oh, you know what? I have yet to see an Asian Miss Richfield. I don't think there has.
Here's a challenge.
That'll be a job
viewers.
for our listeners.
Yes, let's get an Asian. Perhaps that B.D. Wong could play you in a movie.
Well, you never know. And I did do Sweet and Sour Richfield one year, which was an Asian theme. And it was about Miss Richfield being outsourced to China.
With those little children who make the Samsung electronics. Yes.
Right. Exactly. And a lot of my outfits, actually.
Well, so
little hands, the beating.
Yes, well, as Joan Rivers used to say, little hands can set little jewels.
Yes.
It's true.
That's true.
Wise woman.
Oh, I know our dear Joan Rivers. Let's
We
bring
love
Miss
her.
Peppermint back. Hold on. Where is she? She's there somewhere. There she is.
Hey.
No, I'm going to move you around. There. I'll have the drag on the bottom. Although I really
we're on
should
the
have
bottom.
Frank. I
Oh,
should have
careful
Frank
with my
on the
hair,
bottom, but that's all.
Like, oh, it
This is the
tickles.
last
Oh,
me
that's
for a couple
like-
more weeks.
Oh, that's
Wait,
so
it's
beautiful.
a beard. Wait, there we go. Oh, look at that. I've got a beard. Oh, it's
It is.
beautiful.
Oh, look
I
at
love
that.
it.
Oh.
Well, thank you.
So, now, oh, look at that. Now, Miss Richfield, are you a fan of Peppermint? Peppermint, your mic is muted. Why are you
Oh,
muted?
there you go. Peppermint, you're muted, sweetie. There you go.
Here you are. Thank
Of
you.
course- Well, I am. I mean, mostly it was the Broadway thing that I had heard of first. I have to be quite honest with you. And so impressed. Like, brava, brava.
Thank you.
I mean, because you know, as I do, when you make accomplishments,
Ooh,
that
we've lost
you
Frank.
raise the bar for everybody. You know? What is the
Yeah.
saying? Like rising tides raise all boats or something, you know? And so
And the
raise
cream
water.
rises to the top. They say
Or
that at orgies.
Something about a bird in the hand, or I don't know. Anyway, the point is,
All of the above.
we like you. But
I love
when you're making accomplishments like that, it brings it all. It makes everybody a winner. You know what I'm saying? We're all winners. So so that's how I know you, and so congratulations. I mean, that's very
Thank you. I know you from a lot of my girlfriends would go up to P-Town, the coworkers that I worked at Lips with.
Oh,
And so they would always bring back
love it.
fabulous stories, and
Oh.
that's how I first discovered you. Probably in like 2005, I think, was when I was working at Lips. Actually, I started working at Lips early in that, like 2003, 4, 5. But around 2005,
Wow.
I
You've been doing performing that long.
Yeah. As soon as I moved to New York City in '98, and that's when I started.
We started at the same time. Do you realize that? We're probably the same age.
We're
So we're the
twins.
same-
We're totally twins, girl.
But you know the
Totally.
black
Are you in your
don't
mid-20s?
crack.
I'm in my
That's-
mid-20s.
Of course, for
Okay.
eternally.
I knew there was a connection. Isn't that weird that we both started at the same
Start
time?
at the same time. I think it's gorgeous.
I do too. Look at us.
You know, but you're also, both of you, what I love is that your attitude is so good that you're not those bitchy drag queens who really feel that to get ahead, they have to knock somebody else down.
Yeah, and I think really, and I think Pepper would agree with me on this. I think really that's like kind of not, I think a lot of that show. I think a lot of that's like talk, you know, like the guys like to hear you kind of do that. And I think really in the dressing room, you know, behind closed doors, everybody's friends for the most part. You know what I mean? This is like,
That's 100%. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say with the girls that I've known that are the bitchy queens, that really is how they are. That is a part of their performance, as Miss Richards was saying. But also, even to your point earlier, that you know the folks who have written material, that's a part of. I think that's a part of that school of strictly written material. Don't mess with my show. I work alone.
Yep.
And I'm gonna get you and be bitchy, and it's all pre-written. It's not necessarily, it's not really that off the cuff. And then I think the people who really connect with their audience, like actually have a connection where you're going back and forth with the energy and doing audience work. I think it's impossible to be that vicious to the audience when you're really open to the audience, I think.
yeah.
Well, I think also there are performers, and this goes for drag performers, comics, anybody, that the more open you are, I think the better you are because you do feed off that audience energy.
Yeah. And personally speaking, I always tell people, anyone who's difficult, you know, and it's not a good thing in this field to be difficult because it's too connected. You know, like
we all know each
Pepper
other.
and I haven't worked together, but now that we've met each other, we're going to bump into each other like 5 more times in the next year. That's how it goes. It's such a small community. You just don't want to burn any bridges. It's foolish. And people that do, sometimes that's just their personality. They're just maybe not nice people. And they're out there, but I find like in P-Town, we all get along. We're all friends. We all go to each other's shows. We all get along.
I remember talking to Lady Bunny, of all people, about it, and she basically said it doesn't make for good television if you show that the real truth about a lot of drag queens, she said, which is Miss Thing, did she get you your dress by the day she promised? And do you need me to help with anything? And she's like, that doesn't make for good television if really you're looking out for your sisterhood, and she said, but that's really what it's like. And if someone is not that person, everybody knows. And is like, you stay over there. It's like, we're going to all be nice to each other over here, and you go, over there. I hope that's true.
We talked, I mentioned I had Buck Angel on the show Tuesday, and we talked about terms and the way people like to be identified. And so there was this whole thing that you should call drag transgender, and transsexual is old, and transvestite is an old term. What are the terms that you prefer, Pepper?
Honestly, I prefer for myself just a trans woman. But one of the things that I think the best way to navigate it is that question that you just asked. Let's just ask people what their preference is, right? And then they tell you what they want to be called.
Well, and also you are a trans woman. You are not a drag queen. So I think there's also a
woman who does drag.
Yeah, okay, but now Miss Richfield, on the other hand, I wouldn't call you a trans woman. I'd call you a drag queen. What would you want?
She's a lady. She's not. Miss Richfield is not a drag queen. Peppermint is a drag queen. Miss Richfield's not a drag queen. What are you talking about?
I don't even know what I am. Well, what I like to do because sometimes that question comes up when someone's writing a press release or they're going to introduce you at a show or something, and they're like, how do I refer to you? And so what I usually say for me, and I do the same thing that Pepper suggested is, you ask it, it's going to be a personal thing for everyone. But I like to say I am a person that does drag performance, a cabaret drag performer is how I think I say it. Mm-hmm. So a cabaret drag performer, and that kind of just makes it less like I'm like a bar performer. I'm more of a performer. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it does sort of it just sort of in your mind kind of sets like, oh, she does cabarets. And so that's what I like the best when somebody asks. But I'm also really sensitive. Like it takes the bingo that I do. We have a transgender friend who's on that, and they like to be referred to as they. As a pronoun. And so I'm learning kind of how to speak in gender fluid terms. And it's really interesting. It's
a beautiful language, gender fluidity. Pepper, the character in Head Over Heels was a they.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the pronoun you prefer? Do you prefer she?
My pronouns are she, her, but the character Pythio that I played was a non-binary. So their pronouns were they, them.
And she was all genders. She was sort of encompassing the entire spectrum.
Yeah, I think for the character Pythio, they were also like in a journey where they were sort of figuring it out for themselves. They were the mother of one of the, spoiler alert, but the show's over, so you missed it. They were the mother of someone else. They had been a wife and mother to some other characters in the show. Yes. And so, and then they got banished and turned into a snake and a bird and all this stuff. And so then, they were on a journey of self-discovery and transition, which a lot of trans people and non-binary people, and honestly, humans are engaged in a lot of times.
And what I love about that, and I think this is something really important, is that because you were a trans woman, you were able to bring your experience to that character and make it even more real and resonate with an audience more than, say, just any performer would.
I would say literally. I mean, there was many moments when we were sitting, basically rewriting some of the script, and as you would do when you're originating a show, that we had to completely take parts out and add things in just to make it flow better or be able to bring my experience, my sensibility, which isn't always everyone's experience, but it was an authentic, pathway.
Miss Richfield, you have the unique experience of people on this show where you write, direct, perform your own show. And
only because people won't work with me.
Well, that's right. You're very difficult. I've heard.
And I like to keep the money. Actually.
And you're a
Yeah,
control
that's the first reason.
Yeah, actually.
So you can't fire the writer, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
But you could blame the writer.
Well, and I do have people that help me. So, but yeah, largely, and it's a blessing and a curse. It's like being able to be spontaneous is great, but you can rely too much on that. And a friend of mine said, just be careful. Don't look at that as a shiny object, and that's what you rely on. Make sure that you invest yourself in writing. And so I've been trying to be better at that.
You also both sing live. And a lot of people don't. And I think, Frank, we've talked about this before, is that this is something that the younger crowd of performers, we have sort of the ones that lip sync and the ones who are fully fledged performers for all around. They have to dance, they have to sing, they have to act, they have to do everything. Frank, is this something that has raised the bar for everybody?
The hashtag I love now is hashtag all drag is valid. I like that idea that basically whatever you're doing, when the curtain opens, do you get an eyeful? Do you get an earful from somebody? If you do, and it keeps your attention and it's dazzling, you're in. I don't think it doesn't matter. The rest of it is just doesn't matter. It's just, is it a good show? Are you an entertainer? Is it, and that's whether you're lip syncing or singing live. I mean, I don't understand drag performers. When you'd watch, there were some seasons where you'd have someone say, well, I'm not really a personality. What the hell are you doing on the TV then? That's the way I feel. Sort of like, what does that mean? I'm not really a personality. It's like, then stay to Instagram and don't bother me. It's like, if you're a personality and if I'm going to have to hear you, you better say, of course I'm a personality. Right. I always loved Charles Pierce used to say, people would say to him, you're too much. And he said, of course I'm too much. If I weren't enough, I wouldn't be up here. Right. It's like, that's what I think you live by, is if you're too much, you put it out there and you share it with everybody because you've got a little extra.
Peppermint. Let's ask Peppermint. When you were starting out, it was in the days where people were doing a lot of lip syncing, and it was hard to go to a club where they would give you an actual live mic. Did you have to lip sync then, or were you singing?
Well, I mean, I definitely started drag out lip syncing. I think, that was just, I think a big part of it is really just the technology that's going on. Most of the bars and clubs that I worked in, you couldn't have a live mic and have the lights on at the same time because something was going to blow. And so there's just no way you could do it. And there have been clubs, even post Drag Race for me, there have been clubs where I've been booked to go out and, my preference was to sing, but I would have my, music, my lip tracks ready because sometimes their system couldn't handle it. Their mic wouldn't work or, there's always technical difficulties. And so that's part of it. And so when I was working at Lips, it was like, I don't have time to figure out the mic. Let's just put on the track and let me do my song, get the check and go, because I gotta go.
Miss Richfield, what about you? Did you ever have to lip sync?
I did when I first started. And a lot of the clubs really have, they're almost like a dance speaker system. They're really set up for bass and stuff. So it's even hard to speak sometimes in some of those places because it's just a different system. It's really for music. It's not for talking. So I couldn't do any live singing initially. And I was only there for about 6 months. And then I went to a cabaret where I sang live all the time. And it was great, and I just learned learn how to do that with tracks, and back in the day, tracks were really hard to
build the
come by.
character.
It's crazy, but I had oftentimes in that smaller, before I started traveling, I'd have a live pianist. I'd have someone playing the piano. For me. But then once I hit the road, like I said, I want to keep the money, so I'm not traveling with anybody. Not like Varla, I'm not traveling with anybody. So I just travel.
She also wants somebody to service.
She is talented, that gal. Well, I always say this to entertainers is that if you're going to sing with just a piano, like Varla does, you better be trained. You better have a trained voice because tracks hide a multitude of sins. And you can sound a lot better with the track behind you. But Varla, with her pianist, you know, she was a hot pianist. You better have a trained voice, and you better have really good pitch and know what you're doing. And you know, obviously
we're running out of time with our drag queen. So get your questions in. We have some comments. Let's see. We have Patrick Boyd. Hi, Patrick. Hi, Billy. Hi, Miss Richfield. Oh, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. Who else? Oh, great show from Steve Masterson. Thank you, Steve Masterson. Who else? Oh my God. Now, Frank DeCaro, this is for you. I saw Lucy Arnaz do Annie Get Your Gun.
Aaron Quill is gayer than all of us. Let's face it.
I know. I want to talk to Aaron Quill.
I got to see Lucy Arnaz in P-Town and meet her. She's fabulous.
Crown and Anchor. Yes.
Yeah.
Where the competition is. Yes.
And she has a wonderful music director she's had forever. Really wonderful people.
Oh, somebody here, Steve said, I'm afraid to fly or we would be in P-Town. Have any of you been traveling at all?
No, but I will for the first time next month, and I'm terrified going to. Yeah, I mean, well, I have. Let's put it this way: it's on my calendar. However, we don't know what's exactly. Thank you, Miss Richfield. I'll have to come borrow that. That's what the inside of all of my masks look like because I always put on lipstick and forget that I haven't to wear a mask. But I am supposed to travel, but you know, you never know. It's like things change moment to moment with this.
Are you gonna fly? Are you gonna fly
to LA? Yeah.
Oh,
I know. I'm like, ugh.
I would love to sit next to Peppermint on a plane. I would. I think that would be so much fun.
I think you'll be fine as long as you wear I would wear a face covering the whole time.
Oh no! I mean, I think it's part of their regulations, but I'm gonna wear the face covering and a shield, honey. I'm gonna look like a.
Totally, because your eyes as well. You should really cover your eyes.
I would fly in a burqa. I would.
Fly in a burqa.
I'm going to fly in a baked potato aluminum foil.
Oh, okay. We got a Peppermint.
That's good.
Rocky Durand. Peppermint, you're beautiful. You're all beautiful. I want to be a Miss Richfield. Look at that.
Aww. Rocky, thank you.
Thanks,
now,
Rocky.
I don't know what this means. Eddie Shapiro says Jones Beach Theater. What does that mean?
And Long Island.
Maybe that was Annie Get Your Gun.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I bet
that would be good.
Miss Richfield's Larry Blum, who I met.
Larry Blum. That's where I stay when I'm in LA.
Yes. Well, Larry is
very
accommodating.
When I go to LA next month.
He puts me in the back of the shack.
Oh, he's very accommodating.
I mean, I've never had to rent a hotel in LA. I've always just stayed with my friend Larry, who knows you, Billy. He says nice things about you.
I love it. He's got a penis the size of a hamster. He does. What else do we have? Patrick Boyd says, love you all. Thank you, Patrick Boyd. A Broadway hoofer. He was in Broadway Bears. He was naked. Anyone else? What else do we have? Those are the questions. I know that you guys, you know, I think Frank said it, but I think you guys really, you do make the world a little bit brighter because you make us smile, you make us think, you entertain us. You also have great pathos, both of you, because you really expose yourself to the crowd. And I'm not talking in that nasty way.
No nipples.
I just think that it's great. And I think the fact that Miss Peppermint, I have to show again, look at, she's dressed for dinner with dangly earrings and everything.
And
I love it.
And I'm in slacks.
Oh, wait, hold it. Oh, look at this.
Yes.
That's
I love
beautiful.
those.
That is very Jacqueline Kennedy before the rifle hit.
No,
it is. You know, if you had some blood splatter on your bosom, it would be identical.
Oh, we can't.
Oh, wait, now, Patrick Boyd said, Miss Richfield, my boys and I will miss you this year in P-Town. Next year, we're booked for the 4th and Bear Week.
We love that. 2 great weeks.
Peppermint, you have not performed in Provincetown, have you?
I haven't. I just haven't. I have to make a trip. You know, I guess the fork in the road that I could have made that decision, I decided to go when I was traveling, like, you know, regionally from New York City, was to go to Fire Island. And so that's where I was doing my shows in the summers.
Which is amazing.
Peppermint, have you been to Provincetown, Peppermint?
I've never been to Provincetown. I've never been there.
It is, you know, when people say, oh, it's a magical place about anywhere, I always hate when they say that. It's a magical place. It is.
I've heard all of the stories and everyone loves it. All my friends leave me in August to disappear to P-Town, and I'm always left lonely wondering what's happening. But then obviously after, you know, the past couple of years, I've just had to, just like Miss Richfield, I've had to follow the money. And so
you were on Broadway. That started in the summer. I remember that opening night. That was like
July.
We
started in July. Mm-hmm.
That was, again, let me just ask you, are either of you in relationships? Peppermint, let's start with you. You're single.
I'm not in a relationship, and I'll have to go in just a minute, but I'm not in a relationship. Yes. I'm a single woman, and I'm so very much looking, but I did write an album about the relationship that I was in last year where we broke up. It's called A Girl Like Me, Letters to My Lovers, and the album comes out on the 16th of October on all streaming platforms, and so check it out.
And Miss Richfield, are you in a relationship?
Well, I am dating someone. I haven't dated anyone in years. And an Italian stallion named Dominic. How do you like that? And I know. Actually, we've been dating almost 4 years.
Have you seen your face?
Isn't that great? Isn't that there it is?
You have to wear the mask.
Love. Okay.
Do you have to wear the mask, Miss Richfield, around him?
Well, you know, that's an interesting question because he came to visit me and people are really strict up here, you know, and he got a COVID test and, you know, we did all that. And I seriously told him, do not come up here until you have a test because, I cannot be near you unless I know you're healthy. Look, at least we got you here. We got to be with both of you virtually. Thank you both for doing the show. I love you both so much. You're so incredibly talented. Give your websites, Peppermint.
Peppermintonline.com or Peppermint247 on all socials.
And Miss Richfield?
MissRichfield.com. Or if you want to come play bingo with me, it's playbingobonanza.com or Trivia Shack. We do 2 different shows. The next one coming up is a week from today, actually, where we're going to do trivia, and that's TriviaShack.live.
Frank and I will come and play trivia with you.
I love that idea.
You can find it on Facebook, too. You can get that on there.
Girls, thank you both for being on the show. I love you both. Thank you so much.
Great to meet you.
We'll be back.
Love to both of you. Big honkin' smooches.
Thank you both so much. Oh, Frank DeCaro, I feel so plain without them here. They were so glad.
I love them. Both of them are so super talented and sweet and lovely and always at the top of their game. You know, I like talented people. That's really the thing. People are like, oh, you're a star fucker. It's like, no, I just like talented people. I like to be around talented people.
Well, speaking of talented people, Frank DeCaro, one of our good friends, it was her birthday yesterday, the late Lynn Samuels, radio legend, worked out of New York, was on Sirius, left for years, and then Sirius Stars. And I found this photo of you and Lynn together.
Yes, look at that. Oh, she was something else.
And Lynn Samuels was very rarely that happy.
You knew her way better than I did. I mean, we would see each other in the hall at Sirius, and we would chit chat and stuff. But she was one of those legendary radio voices. So you'd hear her talk, and it'd be, I know that woman. Wait a minute, yeah, she was something else.
I have a little clip. I had called Lynn on the show on one of her birthdays. Now, of course, I knew better than to say happy birthday on the air because she would have hated that. She hated attention. So I called in and she saw my name on the screen. And this is a little clip you'll see an email from us on screen. So let me just play this little clip. Here we go.
Billy, thank you. I'm saying this to somebody on hold. Thank you. But I don't want you to say that on the air, and I'm afraid you're going to. So I don't think I'm ever going to get to your call. But thank you. He knows what I'm talking about. He can hear me on hold, right? You're not like playing him music or something.
She was insane. I have a longer clip that I'm going to play in a moment, but Frank, what was she like to work with? Because you only saw her in the hallway. Typically, she would take a break between in her hour break to go pee, and she would see you in the hallway. And you were one of the few people that she really liked at Sirius.
Oh, I thought she was swell, and I mean, but honestly, listen to that voice. It warms my heart to hear her voice again. But it's like, you know why you moved to New York? So you can hear people who sound like that. That's why we all moved to New York. You wanted that voice in your ear, you know, this sort of crazed Jewish mother voice in your head. That's what we all moved to New York for. And we would see each other. Peeing at Sirius was always a delight. I mean, that was one of the best things, you know. You'd go there because you'd have that 2 minutes at the top of the hour. And you'd run like hell, you know, and to go and do your thing. But Lynn and I would see each other before, during, and after a tinkle. Not during. And but we would chat. And but no, I mean, it's like, you know what was the best thing about being there? I got to pee next to David Johansen, which was very. Yeah, no, he was. You know, he's one of the New York Dolls, and Buster Poindexter is his alter ego, and you know, and so yeah, it was a lot of peeing with celebrities. So that was fun.
You know, I love celebrities.
Yeah, it's about as intimate a moment as you get with stars. But you know, but no, Lynn was swell. I liked Lynn a whole bunch.
Well, I think what people didn't realize was, again, she was such a character, and she was exactly the way you thought she'd be. She was not a disappointment, but the one thing she was very shy, painfully shy, and yet outspoken. I mean, there's always interesting when you meet people who are in media who really are outspoken, but they also have a shy side, unlike us, of course.
Yeah, and yet you and I like our private time. You know, I mean, you know, I do. I have a whole side of myself that I don't share with other people. But,
well, that's why I think that the COVID has not been as hard for a lot of people who are performers, because ultimately when we're alone, we are loners. We're sort of homebodies and happy to be home and create.
Yeah, that is true for me. I mean, I know people who this is driving them crazy because they don't have an audience. But you know, when people are like, "Are you still doing stand up?" and I was like, "No, not really." I mean, if someone asked me to host something or to do a set, but I don't have that hunger to be heard necessarily. I have a hunger to be busy, but you know, what I miss is being busy. But I don't. It's not I've got to get this joke out there, or I've got to go do stand up, or I don't have that. Right. For better or worse. Maybe if I did, I'd be more successful. I don't know. But I don't have that. You know, they say you shouldn't do stand up if it's not absolutely driving you insane to not be in front of a mic. I don't have it. You know, I just don't. Right. But I do have the urge to create stuff. So I try and come up with little things and work. I'm working on a book project this week, and I've got a story that's due for writing. You know, I'm writing, and you know, so I have stuff to do. But and there's a little urge to perform, but it's not driving me crazy that I can't sing, or which I don't do, or do stand up, or do whatever. You know, I mean, it's not driving me insane to be home. You know, so
no. Well, and this is the thing, in that you're going to hear a clip from Lynn, which is from like 8 years ago, and yet she, you know, in the previous clip, you saw an email where she said to me that when she dies, I will have to run the memorial because I had things that she even forgot she did. And so sure. I continue running lynnsamuels.com, and every once in a while I'll put up clips. And I found this clip, and Lynn was a storyteller. She was a raconteur, and she was one of the few talk show hosts that didn't need a guest. You would have an hour of just Lynn talking about going to Target and trying to find like the plugins for her air freshener. And so I found this clip, and I thought to myself, if Lynn were alive during the pandemic, this would be the kind of show she would do. So let's listen to this, and then you and I will talk about it. Okay. It's about 5 minutes long, so just get ready to listen to Lynn Samuels for 5 minutes. Okay, how do I do it? Let's see. All right, let's try that. Oh, Frank, you and I can watch her. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, we got photos. Okay, let's see if we can play it.
It's going on Sunday. And it's a real New York diner, not just because it's called New York Diner, but it is a real New York diner. It's out in Queens. It's owned by, like people who speak English and everything. I think they're Greek because they do have an accent, but they speak English. And it's on like, Northern Boulevard and 49th Street or something. And it's right by Best Buy. If anybody's,
I'm pausing for a second. Frank, who else does a show that's nationwide and giving an address of a diner in Queens?
Yeah, I do this. She would, I would. Yeah, it's a little bit, you got to be a little nutty. Yeah, it's true.
All right, let's continue with the story.
this is like a real old-fashioned, fabulous, incredibly good diner. But it is teeny weeny. And on Sunday in particular, it's crowded. Like you can't believe. People wait on a line to get tables. Well, those are the yuppies. You know, the yuppies and the hipsters are moving in by me. Not fast enough. Them, but you know, at least they speak English. So, now I never like to sit at a counter, but I have to always sit at a counter. First of all, I'm one person. And secondly, you can usually get a seat at the counter, and they have the best pancakes on earth. And because they're so busy, the bacon is always the way I like it, which is half raw. Don't you hate it when they have that bacon that sits around forever and it's like beef jerky by the time it gets to you? I hate that. I like bacon that isn't quite cooked, which I think is safe because there are so many chemicals in bacon. I assume that you don't really have to. I like bacon where the white part, you can still see through it. I like when it's translucent. So I sit down at the counter and I order my pancakes and bacon. And I'm just watching, you know, this commotion, and they have really good waitresses. You know, everybody's fast and everything is really fast. But you wait a long time because it's very busy. Oh, and they're doing takeout orders too. You know, they have a big takeout business. So everything takes a long time. So I'm sitting here waiting 10, 15, 20 minutes, you know, because the grill isn't big enough. But you don't mind because it's just all this, as long as there are no little children screaming, and there weren't. In the meantime, one of the waitresses, first you see her put her two hands over her face and she sneezes right into her hands. Right? And then the next thing she does is reach over to the counter and take somebody's plate of food and give it to them. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm watching her because I have all this time sitting. And the next thing, she's got her hand over her mouth and she's coughing. And she's coughing and she's sneezing and she's taking the plate. And I'm like, I want to hand her at least a Kleenex. If not, I don't have wipes in my bag. I only have my little. You really want to, like, so how can you do this? And then you stop and think, you know something, in a place where you can't see what's going on, God knows what's going. You know, it's funny because if they had to go in the back and get the food, they could be like, wiping their ass with their hands and then picking up their food and you wouldn't know it. But I'm watching this. And I'm thinking, oh God, thank God she wasn't the one who took my order. Well, you can figure out what comes next. My order goes up on, you know, thing. And who reaches to give it to me but her? And I say, oh my God. And she looks at me. And she says, what's wrong? And I said, all you're doing is coughing and sneezing and then picking up people's food. And I said, I wasn't yelling. I swear to God, I was not yelling. I wasn't yelling.
I swear she was.
And, well, you want another plate? I said, what good is that going to do? You need to have some Purellas. Well, So after that, you have everybody working there. They're like, look at that. I'm the crazy person. I'm the crazy person? Me? And so I eat everything because it's too good not to eat it. And when I go to pay, I say to the guy who owns the place, I said, you really need to have some of that stuff around because that is so disgusting. So he says, oh, I run clean place. I said, no, you don't. And I said, I know if we couldn't see them doing it, it's another thing. But I'm watching her sneezing and coughing and sneezing and coughing into her hands and picking up people's food. Well, he doesn't understand, so I can't even decide whether to go back or not. So I go, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to Starbucks, but there was too big of a line. And I walk into Dwayne Reed, which none of you people, it's the drugstore. It's only in New York. Because it's the only place I can get refills for my sponge mop. Far away, Dwayne Reed. And I pick up 2 refills for my sponge mop. And for once, there's not a line, which is a miracle, right? And I'm walking over to the cashier. And as I am about to hand her what I'm buying, guess what she does? She sneezes right into her hand. And she is now going to take my stuff, my money, hand me my change. Is it me? Am I insane? This is just fucking pig. Think about it. I don't know. I'm a crazy but I was always like this. You just see people doing filthy and disgusting things, and I can't stand being near people anyway. I can't stand back there anymore. I mean, Emily had a thing where somebody was just rude to her. That's different. Rude. Because, see, Emily's nice. See, to me, you're rude to me, I'm 10 times more rude back. So, but this is so disgusting. And you know what I keep thinking? I keep thinking the minute there is like bird flu, they're all dead. I mean, when you're in a world where people are sneezing and coughing into their hands and then handing people their food, forget about it. Forget about it. I just can't deal with it.
All I keep thinking is if she was alive now, that is what the show would be every day.
It's so fun. Honestly, I was listening to her and I was like, you know what? I lived in New York City for 25 years. That's what it sounded like for 25 years. And
again, she's giving the minutia of her life. I mean, that's a great broadcaster because you really talk about connecting with somebody.
Well, they end up, and your fans, God love them, they know you, the ones who remember stuff. It's like, oh my God, it's like, I forgot I said that. It's like, don't listen, but, hit the delete button too. It's like, once I've said it, it's gone. Don't remember the crap I've already said. But yeah, you would go on and talk about, you had 3 hours a day for 5 days a week is a lot of time to fill. And suddenly the story, you become Edith Bunker and your stories go on forever, but no, people who, I mean, I don't know I can't speak for New York particularly right now, but it's like, I've been gone 7 years now. When I first moved to New York, you should have been, the test should have been, can you listen to Lynn for several hours? Because if you can listen to that voice for several hours, you'll survive in New York. If it sounds like chalk on a blackboard, pick a different place. It's like I
just loved it. There was a time
it makes me genuinely laugh.
She interviewed Fran Drescher once, and it was a meeting of the minds. It was so brilliant.
A meeting of the voice boxes. Oh my, because she's not really putting on. Fran amps it up a little bit, but she really does sound that way too.
And I think people also should know that 5-6 minute clip
is on a political station. Now, what did that have to do with politics?
Well, that was endearing her to other people. People are, I mean, you're listening to her mop refill story, but you're learning about, she might be able to talk public policy in terms of wearing a mask or using Purell. And, she could sneak these days, she would have been sneaking all that in and then talking about, the person sneezing at the Dwayne Reed, it's so funny. It's just,
and it's such a New York experience. We've all of us who've lived in New York, that is New York. And if you can take it, great. If not, get out, because they're not changing.
No. And it's, I think it's different now. I don't think it's quite the island of misfit toys that it was in the late 80s when I moved there. It really was the cool kids in New York when I moved there so many years ago. It was everyone who was picked last in gym was who was in charge. And now I don't know if it's quite that way. I think now it's more about money and prestige more than it used to be. There used to be that subculture that truly existed, where if you were the gay guy was running things. Whoever the freakiest of the freaks was the one in charge of the door policy. And suddenly you were the one who was this. The homecoming queen was divine, that kind of thing. Right. It wasn't, it wasn't Taylor. I love Taylor Swift, but it wasn't the voice of the New Yorker wasn't Taylor Swift. It was divine or somebody of that ilk,
I don't trust Taylor Swift.
Oh, I love her.
I think she's probably a nasty person.
No, I
don't
believe that. Think that.
I think nobody is that sweet and goody. I think she's difficult.
Well, I hope deep down, but no, I'm a big fan of hers actually, and I think she's cute. But yeah, it's true when you're known for when you're known for being nice, which neither of us
we aren't.
we are. That's our secret, is we are nice. Right. But it's like that. When I was saying about the part you don't share with people, I'm a pussycat. That's the part I don't share. That's for my husband and my friends, and not all my friends either, just the close ones. It's like, people don't need to know you're sweet and mushy and you cry at, I was watching some 40-year-old TV show the other day. I was weeping by the end of it. And it's like, oh my God, you're such a...
Well, Frank DeCaro, I have known you probably, I started to call him 25 years ago. So probably at least 22, probably.
Yeah, we would run into things, and we know each other better now than we did. But yeah, once we would start being in the same places together, if we were in the same room together, we were standing talking to each other. That was the way it always went.
What I find is the less I see you, the more I like you, Frank DeCaro.
Thank you. My husband feels the same way. It's true.
And it's always great having you on the show. It is, because first off, you did write the book, and let's just show it again. Hold on, where is it? It's here somewhere. Wait, that's a picture of you and me. You did write the book on drag, and I think that it is a great coffee table book. It's got great pictures. It really, and somebody said, "Oh, is it a picture book?" I said, "It isn't, but but it has great pictures. But there's so much information. It really is like an encyclopedia of drag. That's
beautifully illustrated. Yes, I was going to say beautifully illustrated, but it is not a coffee table book in the sense that you don't read it. You really should read it.
And it's a reference book because you have everything in there."
It's a lot of stuff. People will say, "Well, is this person in it?" Every once in a while, I would say about 10% of the time when somebody says, "Is this person in it?" 10% of the time I say no, and 90% of the time I say, "Yep, they're in there." And obviously some to a bigger degree than others, but generally speaking, if they were important, they're mentioned somewhere in there. And I hope whoever writes the next one, is even more thorough and gets more stuff in there and takes their own take on it, and because it changes every minute of every day. And
maybe the next sequel will include Fatty Lupone.
She's in there. I did my little secret in the end papers. There's names, and Fatty Lupone is there. Me and two friends are our drag alter egos are mentioned in that, just snuck in there. So I thought, well, I'll put our names and that'll be our little secret. So Fatty Lapone is mentioned in the end paper.
You're like Alfred Hitchcock. He always put himself in his movies.
After I eat what Jim brought me for lunch, I'm really going to be Alfred Hitchcock. It's a lot.
What did he make? What are you having for lunch?
No, he either went to Popeyes or get a filet of fish at McDonald's because it was.
Oh, you're such a health food nut.
I try. So anyway, tonight we'll be healthy. Oh no, I have pie again tonight. Never mind. Let's just not talk about that.
Send me a picture of your pie, please.
You all want to peek at my pie. Now stop that, Billy. I love you to pieces.
Thank you for doing the show again. And again, another 2-3 weeks, we'll find more drag queens to bring to you.
Let's figure out a way to monetize this, shall we?
Oh, why are we not making money? You know, when I saw Marilyn Maye and down in Provincetown, and I told her about the show, she said, "Are you monetizing it? Are you doing like a Venmo account or something?" And I said, "No, because I think that's cheap. It cheapens us, Frank DeCaro."
It's true. At Boy Phyllis is at my Venmo.
And mine is
BoyPhyllis. At Boy Phyllis. If you'd like to Venmo me a station wagon, anything, Venmo me whatever you want. So,
and mine is the old website address. It's filth2go.com. Webmaster at filth2go.com. Frank DeCaro, thank you for doing the show. I love having you here. And like I said, we'll have you back.
All right, thank you. I love you too. And everybody stay healthy, stay happy, and please follow me at Frank DeCaro Show.
Yes. Frank DeCaro Show. That's named after the defunct radio channel.
No, it's about my life. Every day it's the Frank DeCaro Show. That's what it's really after. Bye, everybody. Bye, Billy.
Bye, sweetheart. Bye-bye, baby. Oh, I cut him off. What were you saying? What'd you say? Hold on.
I'm hitting the leave button now. It's been a pleasure. Bye.
Bye, sweetheart. No, now he's leaving us. God, another man has left me. Oh, my God. Wait, there's more. Oh, any new books coming, Frank? Rocky, I have no idea. He's gone. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. It was so much fun today. Tuesday, we will have the fabulous Miss Marilyn Maye. And I don't know who we'll have Thursday. Who knows? It's a surprise to you. It's a surprise to me. But this is Billy Masters Live. And just remember, if we're here, we're live. Bye, guys. Take care.